So about 5.5 years ago, around 2019, I believe it was March or April, I can't remember, I had gotten a phone call from one of the people working at the authorized dealer boutique, Rolex boutique here in Honolulu, letting me know that I'd be expecting a call shortly from them, letting me know that my watch would be ready for pickup. That phone call obviously did not come right away. It took another, I think it was close to 2 months before I finally got the call for them to say, congratulations, it is now your turn, your watch is here ready for pickup. I'm of course referring to my first watch. This is the Rolex Submariner Date. This is model number 116610LN on the 40mm oyster case in stainless steel. So when I first bought this watch and put it on my wrist, hang on one second here. When I first bought this watch, put it on my wrist, it was the spitting image of perfection. I can't explain it. For those of you who had a chance to wear one in the past, it is simply amazing. It is a little big on my wrist, I get it, but again, I don't care. It's just what I like. It's just the way it feels, the way it makes me feel, the way that the watch weighs and falls and onto your wrist. I mean, it's hard to explain, but it's just the perfect proportion. And the reason for this video and the reason I wanted to kind of explain it a little bit is when I first bought this watch, and 5 years, it's a chunk of time, right, spent with this watch, I never had an issue with it. It was, like I said, perfection from day one. However, it's not until you compare two watches next to each other where you can actually hold them both and actually look at them or place them both on your wrist and really look at the difference, right, is where, for me, it was where it made a bell go off in my head, in my mind, right? So let me put this aside here. So the 40mm, like looking at it, walking around, you can't tell. You really cannot tell. It's something where, let me see if I can. There you go. You can't tell. So wearing them just like this here, if you can see it, get the perfect angle. Maybe there you go. You know, they look identical. I mean, besides the date function, of course, but that's just a personal preference that I had. But, you know, once I had the 40mm in my hand, I just felt that it was proportioned a little better. And I did get called out. I had a few people saying, you know, there's really no difference. A Submariner is a Submariner. And fair enough, everybody has their own opinions. But to spend this much money on a watch, at least at my level, I'm not a millionaire, right? So for me, it's, you know, taking 9, 10, 11, 12, whatever it is, $1,000 out of your pocket and investing it into a Submariner watch. I just wanted zero details left out. And not that there's anything wrong with this. This is the spitting image of perfection, like I said earlier. But for me, the proportions of the bracelet, again, just were more symmetrical. I can't explain it. It's not even straight on my arm here. Sorry, I don't want to touch those two watches together here. But the bracelet itself it was just a little bit skinny here for me. It had to look like this, like a little wider. The case without the date, so this one, sorry, I'm seeing things backwards because I'm looking at it. This one right over here looks larger because there's no date function. In reality, it's changing by a few millimeters. You can't even tell, like, at all. But visually, when you look at it, it does look bigger in person, I apologize, just because of the date function not being there. There's more real estate on the face of the watch. And for me, although I do have smaller wrist size, I just really like the size of the 41mm no date. It just looks, let me get a good angle here, you go. It just looks bigger, and for me, that was the whole thing. The bracelet needed to be more tapered, which I never thought would happen, and the face of the watch would look bigger on the 41mm, right? And I mean, because everything else is the same. I don't know if you can see it. Sorry, I don't want to zoom in too much here, but let me turn this around real quick here. Careful not to drop this or touch it anywhere else. But So everything else is the same. There's literally no difference. I also mentioned in my last video that the glide lock on this watch, so this is the 41 millimeter, this is the 40 millimeter, it feels like, if you really compare it, like it's a little bit wider and longer, right? So I don't know, but those are such minor details. You know, I spend most of my day looking at this part of the watch, right? And this part was important, you know, the tapered and the wider bracelet was important, and the face of the watch, honestly, I mean, for most people out there, would be what is the most important part. When you first buy a watch, you look at the face, I think, foremost, right? Then there's a preference. Is it Jubilee? Is it Oyster? Is it two-tone? Is it stainless? Is it whatever, white gold, right? Rose gold. But I mean, the face of the watch is typically where it's at for most people. And when I saw this watch, I was thinking to myself, you're right. Do I really need another Submariner? No, I don't. Do I really need to have two of the exact same watches? Does it really make sense financially, since I was, you know, thinking that way in the beginning? No, it doesn't. I mean, it's an investment piece, you know, I can always sell a piece later, but again, the thought of not having exactly what I wanted just made it hard to justify. So again, even though the details are so little, at this price range, I just wanted to have exactly what I wanted to have, no exception, right? And here's the kicker, right? When I first had this watch, this was it. Just like, remember your first car that you bought, it was the perfect car. 3, 4, 5 years go by, another market, and you're thinking, this one is even better. I'm not talking about classics versus modern, I'm talking about just 5 years apart, right? Obviously the Submariner, whichever one you get, it doesn't matter. It's a classic, it's a timeless piece. But you know, when this one came out, like I said, it just made a little bit of a difference, and I felt like, I haven't felt like that's ever before or even since. So when I had this, I was thinking, great, this is the watch I'm gonna wear forever. When this one came out, because they had a 40 millimeter of this one as well, size-wise, yeah, this is fine, this is what I wanted. When this came out, because of the bigger size and the more tapered bracelet and the wider bracelet, it just called my name, and I was like, I need to upgrade to this. Not upgrade, I'm sorry, that's the wrong word. Just buy this watch and have it in my collection. So I'll probably be ending up selling this one so that I can justify having this one. I just, you know, when they call, you don't have a choice, you have to answer the call. And from what I've understood from back in the days, is that if they call you and you change your mind or say, I'm no longer interested, again, this is just a rumor, but that's what I was told, is that basically they blacklist you. Don't know if that's correct, no idea, but I'm not gonna take that chance. We're in Honolulu, we have 2 authorized dealers here, and yeah, the relationship is important. So I bought it. So again, this is the 40 millimeter version, which I've had now for a little over 5 years. This is the new 40 millimeter version, the non-date one, which I've had now for about 2 months, not even. And that is really the only difference. The size of the face, the way it looks, right? And of course the bracelet part of it, that is much more symmetrical, at least in my opinion. And again, it's not the end of the world. It doesn't really matter per se, but like I said, if at that price point, for me at least, it is more an OCD type of deal where I just want to make sure I got exactly what I wanted. So but yeah, let me know your comments, how you guys feel. But one thing is for sure, I don't think I'm going to be keeping both, but I think that I will be dropping this one at some time in the future, just because I don't see the need to have 2 Rolexes, at least not 2 of the same exact category two dive watches, two Submariners, one has a date, one doesn't. That's kind of silly, I think, unless you're a millionaire, but that's not me. So would you have done the same thing? If the AD had called, would you have turned it down? Would you have gone with it in order not to ruin your relationship with the AD? Do you think that the size difference makes a huge difference in the way it looks? Obviously, one has the date, one doesn't. But as far as the bracelet goes, the aesthetics of the watch, do you have a preference, one over the other? And also, you know, if that little change is worth the switch in the watch, or would you have just stuck with the watch that you already had at this price point, of course, right? So obviously the thought of, like I said, selling this one crossed my mind so that I could now just have the exact watch that I wanted. And again, nothing wrong with this watch, just to emphasize it over and over again. One isn't better than the other. This is just a personal preference that I have. I just wanted to, again, to reemphasize here, have a watch that met all of my asks, right? And so if switching it and making that move makes that happen, then of course, you know, I'm very happy. So yeah, drop me some comments below. Let me know what you guys think, if you would have done the same, and what your overall thoughts are on these two watches. All right, sounds good. See you again soon. Bye.